everyone, it's Michelle from Scrap Secrets and welcome to another Sketch Sunday video. This week's sketch comes to you from my brain. I looked at the My Favorite Things one and I didn't find any inspiration, so I thought that I would design something just from my mind. I am making a get well kind of thinking of you card for one of my mom's friends. She has colon cancer and she had surgery the other day, so I told my mom I would make a card for her. So let me show you the supplies I'm going to use. I'm going to use the Hero Arts Shadow Ink Mid-Tone in Bubblegum. Going to be using the Hero Arts background stamp, and this is the envelope pattern stamp, and that's what it looks like. Going to be using a bone folder. This is a Martha Stewart one to score the to crease the cardstock. Going to be using Distress ink in Spun Sugar and the mini ink blending tool. Using the Dynamics Abstract Cover-Up, and then we're going to be using the sentiment Thinking of You from the Hero Arts Clear Stamp Set. So this scripty one up there, and it is CL342. We're also going to be using the Cuttlebug, and I have some pink cardstock from the multi-packs that you can get from Michael's or EC Moore. So we're going to do the lightest and then the second lightest. It's going to be pretty much a monochromatic card. And then I'm going to be doing a card base that's going to be top folding. I've actually already scored a piece of that. So I already scored mine at 5.5. So it's 5.5 by 4 1/4. So the first thing that I want to do is I'm going to take the lightest color, because this is what we're going to have the pattern on. And we're going to ink up this envelope pattern stamp, background stamp, with the Bubblegum Hero Arts Shadow Ink in Mid-Tone. I'm going to place the cardstock on top of it, and then just rub my hand across. Either you can use a bone folder, a brayer, the back of your hand. I've used the tops of ink pads sometimes. Just whatever it takes to get some of the pressure onto the stamp so that the ink will transfer onto the paper. And you can do it the other way around, but I prefer to do it for large background stamps. I prefer to bring the paper to the stamp rather than the other way around. So, okay, make sure all the edges. I could have cut this down before, but I didn't want to. So, okay, so that's the pink. So I'm going to put this off to the side, and then I'm going to bring out my Fiskar's paper trimmer, because what's going to happen is this paper can't go through, the Cuttlebug as it is. And my cutting blade came out. So I didn't stamp very straight, but that's okay, because what we are going to do is we are going to run this through the Cuttlebug twice. Let me cut down this pink paper too. Let's get it down to like 4.5. We're going to run it through the Cuttlebug twice because I am going to show you. This is going to be put together like a little puzzle. I use the Genius platforms, so this is the, I think this is the A. This is so old, the A mat. Yes, look at all the indents and stuff on it. We're going to use the A mat and the Genius platform. I'm going to place the Cover-Up Dynamic on top of it, just so that it all gets into the patterned area. Place that down. You can use washi tape if you need it to be perfectly exact, but I don't. I just need it to be kind of, just to make sure that it stays in the middle. Okay, and then here's the Cuttlebug, and we are going to run this sandwich through the Cuttlebug. And yes, the noises are normal, and sometimes it's harder to get some of these to go through the Cuttlebug than others. It just depends on how thick the dies are. So now what's going to happen is you're going to have little puzzle pieces. So what I'm going to try to do is to take this out and kind of keep the pieces in order. So let's see, hopefully they've all come out. It cuts so nicely, just that one piece fell out, but that's okay. So now we're going to do the same thing with the darker pink piece of paper, and just as long as the die is over top of it, I don't really care where this cuts out. This is actually going to be the piece that we glue down to the project, and then we're going to place all of those other pieces that we just cut out inside of that. That sounds terrible. It sounds like something dying. I may need to get a new Genius platform. Either that, or sometimes you can actually slide the die in kind of on an angle, and sometimes that makes it easier to cut out. Okay. So the little interior pieces, I can keep these all and use them for a different project, which I may do. I'm just going to put them to the side. And now, like I said, I've already done the card base. I've already scored it at 5.5. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to carefully take the frame of this, the outside pieces. That's really what I want, is the outside piece. So this didn't cut all the way through for this little piece here. So I am going to take my cutter bee scissors and just cut along the edge. Sometimes using a metal shim underneath will help that cut all the way out. Oops, I cut a little bit too much off. Oh well. Okay, so we don't need these pieces. I'm going to keep the interior pieces because we can actually do a reverse one. If we use the piece that we cut out the first time, we could put these pieces into that frame. I may need to get a metal shim or do something a little different. Okay. So here's the piece that we're going to want to put on the cardstock. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all of these pieces and put it in like a puzzle. So my other thought was to put a piece of darker cardstock around the edges, but I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm just going to do the white and the pink, because I kind of want to keep this pretty monochromatic. So I'm going to use my Zig 2A glue pen and just fairly quickly go around as many of the edges as possible to get this sealed. I would use my ATG gun, but it's a little bit too thick. It puts down a little bit too thick of a line of glue for this. Now you can do this with pattern paper. You don't have to make your own if you have pattern paper that you like and have a coordinating color. I did it before with a background of roses and then did some green inside of it. Actually, if I have that card, I will show you guys what it looks like. I'm just centering the piece on the background as best as I can. And because the zig doesn't stick down right away, doesn't become permanent right away, you still have a little bit of time to move things around. Okay, and just press it down. Make sure all of the pieces are down, and then this is what the card looks like right now. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is, now this is the background. I'm going to try to, so all I'm going to do is start to take the pieces out, and then they go into it just like a puzzle. So I'm going to start gluing the pieces down, just taking some Zig 2A glue, and placing the pieces just like you would a jigsaw puzzle. there it is. And I know that with the sun coming in the background, sorry about that, the colors may look a little bit muted, but it's like a big jigsaw puzzle. Okay, so the next thing that I want to do, and see if you were careful, you could have used this frame, but I was just trying to do this fast. You probably still could use this to glue it back together and then use the pieces from this and put them in that. So I may still do that. I may still use that for a card. And that way you get 2 cards out of one set of materials, really. So the next thing that I want to do is I want to use the Spun Sugar Distress ink. And I want to, I had this, I think I did this with my last project. I think this might have been the last sketch Sunday. I have this oval left over. So what I want to do is I just want to add some pink to it because I want to keep it pretty monochromatic. Just the pink and the white. And the heavier you go with this, the darker it goes down, but you also want to just be careful to kind of start off the page to make sure that you don't get any harsh lines when you're using distress inks with the blending tools, whether you're using the mini blending tool or the regular one. I find that the mini blending tool kind of cuts down on that. It still happens every once in a while, but I got more harsh lines when I used the regular ink blending tools. If you guys don't know what the regular ink blending tool looks like, this is what it's like. These were the original, and then these are the mini. And they work with all the distress inks. They're basically the same. This one is just round, where the other one is a rectangle. Okay, so we have that, and it's just going to go on the front here, like that. Just going to cover up a little bit of it. And put this back on. And then I'm going to use that same color ink, that bubblegum ink, and ink up the Thinking of You stamp. This is a Hero Arts ink, or I'm sorry, Hero Arts stamp. It is a Hero Arts ink though, as well. It's a really pretty Thinking of You. It's really nice. Now it looks a little plain, so I'm trying to decide if I want to add something else to it. I'm going to use my ATG gun to put tape on the back of this oval, and then I'm going to place it down. That's it. So it looks a little plain. Maybe I might put some rhinestones or something like that on it. I may add a flower or something, but I do kind of want to keep it monochromatic, so I'm going to try to stay with pinks. So, okay, so I'm back, and I finished the card off, and I put 3 little flowers on the outside, and then I stamped Get Well Soon on the inside in the same Hero Arts Shadow ink and bubblegum. And I used these Jolee's Boutique flowers. They are mini cherry blossom icing flowers. So I just thought that they added a little bit of something, but it was still pink, so the whole card is monochromatic. So I guess the theme of this week's Sketch Sunday is a monochromatic sketch, so that everything is in pink with just the teeny tiniest bit of white for the card base. So again, I hope you guys like this, and if you do, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you guys again soon. Bye!